very high. People are very stressed. They don't have a lot of hope. And it's important for us to talk to one another and say, it's okay, it'll be all right, all right? If you can't come with all of the money, come with some of the money. Talk to your landlord, let him know what's going on. But there's no reason to take your life. There is no reason to take your life because you can't meet the rent or because you just lost your job. If God moves one thing from you, there's another thing for you. There's always something else that He has for you. There is no reason to take your life or take your children's life or your wife's life because you lost your job, because you can't meet the rent, because the credit cards are piled high. There's a greater day tomorrow than it is today. The storm may come tonight, but tomorrow the sun is going to shine because that's just the way the Creator made it. You got to go through to get where you're going. If you don't go through, then you have no story to tell. And whoever that is on the roof doesn't know that.
Teach,
they
sister.
They don't know that. And that is why they're ready to jump off the roof.
Here you are,
because
standing here, and you witness a miracle today at the train station.
Definitely.
And see a life be saved. And now you're talking about how stress
and now I'm coming home and someone wants to end their life.
Yeah, right. So what you're saying to the people who are viewing this is that there's always a way.
Of course there is.
So
you have to look at the people that were before us, like Maya Angelou. You have to look at W.E. Du Bois.
So if you don't have money, and you think you could kill yourself.
If you don't have money, you have means. Because God always gives you your own special thing that you do. We all have creativity. Some of us sing, some of us draw, some of us cook very well, we sew. He gives all of us gifts.
Where do you get this resilience from? Where do you
My
get
grandmother.
Your grandmother.
And my mother.
So you're working with foundation because here right now there's someone who wants to kill themselves, who thinks it's not worth living. And we're here right now, the police is around here, ambulance, EMS, and everything. And you was telling the people who are going to view this how they can save their own lives, basically, because of your foundation.
You have to
know.
We all get despondent. We all get depressed. We all have our low days. But you have your low days so that you can lift someone up who's having a lower day than you.
One question. I don't know if you're familiar with the social networks like Facebook and the internet. And recently, I want you to comment on a youngster that killed themselves and jumped off the bridge behind being exposed. I don't know if you heard that story. So what do you think about the people taking these social networks too far? You have an opinion about that? Because it's very sad.
That everything has to have guidance. Everything needs guidance. The internet needs guidance. News reporting needs guidance. Just speaking to people right now, you have to understand what you need to filtrate and not glorify things. When you glorify negative stuff, people who are very weak-minded and don't have foundation, they will say, well,
I'll jump off the bridge.
Jump off the bridge. I'll become
End
famous.
it all. Even if you're exposed as a homosexual. Even if you're exposed as a homosexual on a network, which is a media outlet.
But you have to understand one thing. The only person you should really worry about being exposed to is God. And if He can accept you and love you and bless you, then nothing else matters. And that's something that you have to tell your children.
Ooh, tell it.
Regardless of what, you might be a homosexual. You might be shorter than others. You might be darker than someone else. You might be what they consider too light. But nothing else matters but what God says. And God says, I created you. And I'm the only judge of you. So what makes you think you need to take your life because someone is condemning you and I don't condemn you?
I think that's an answer that's really
but it has to be taught.
Accurate.
It has to be taught. You have to teach it from when they're very small. You can't think that a 16-year-old or 14-year-old just wakes up one day and they know this. You have to teach it. It has to be taught. Children have to know their value and their worth. They have to. Just like you nurture a plant, that's what you have to do with your children. You have to nurture them. You have to tell them you're important and I love you. And even though you didn't get the A and you got the B, you still got a B. Everybody's not going to get an A. Everybody isn't straight. Everyone's not light. Everyone's not dark. Everyone's not tall. Everyone's not thin. You are who you are and be happy. Because happiness comes from within. No one can give you the happiness the way God can, but you got to be happy with yourself. You're not going to wake up every day and feel good. This doesn't happen. But at the end of the day, you're special. That's what you got to know.
Thank you for answering that question for me, sister.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Take care.
Okay.